Hi, everybody. We're back again. It's been a while. We've had a lot going on and a lot to do. I am Janine West,
Keenan West.
and we are reclaiming our identity. We have moved with our three children from the United States to Rwanda. We arrived actually on August 14th, 2020, so just 4 weeks ago. So we're going to give you our 4 week or 1 month review of how the transition has gone, a little bit of detail about all of the different things that transition for us entailed, how things are going now, how the children are doing. So if you're with us live and you have questions for us about our move, because we are only sharing our experience, we don't know about anybody else's, we can only tell you ours. Um, the ups, the downs, the good, the bad, and the
Ugly.
ugly.
Ugly. It's been a roller coaster. It's been a roller coaster since we have been here. Um, yeah, it's been a roller coaster. We have been on the verge. We were on the verge of about a week ago,
Well,
2 weeks ago.
but that's a cliffhanger. Let's start with week one so that we're organized.
Week one, we get here. We were in, we shared this in a previous video. We got here on the first day on that Sunday morning, and we were scheduled to check into a particular Airbnb, which shall remain nameless.
And by schedule, he means booked and paid for.
Booked and paid for. We paid for the Airbnb. When we got to the Airbnb, of course, it was not what we expected.
I'm sorry. Before we got here, you know me, I'm very detailed. Before we got here, you had booked and paid for another Airbnb, and you got a message while we were during a layover that it was not, they weren't going to be able to accommodate us because they didn't have lodging available. Then we had to look for another one, and that's when you found the one that you booked kind of last minute when we were on our layover in
Oh yeah, that's
Qatar.
right. That's
So
right.
that was like, oh, speed bump number one. Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
We gotta find somewhere else to stay that was already settled. So we had to do that while we are on a layover, look for another place. And he found one that he booked that we were planning to go straight to from the airport once we got here. Okay, continue from that point.
Yeah, so we get there and it was not what we expected. And so that started the transition of several different Airbnbs that we have gone in and out of. And we're not going to go back into that because that's a whole, we talked about that in a previous video. And that's you just want to make sure you do your due diligence. In fact, I got an email today from a subscriber who wants us to check out an Airbnb that they booked for a trip that they have scheduled for next year, and we're going to go and check that out this week to make sure that it is
It
legit
meets the person's
and it meets the
expectations.
expectations. Yeah,
I mean, it's legitimate. They exist.
yeah,
It's just that they. I don't know if you mentioned this before. I like to make sure that we're as helpful as possible in our videos and not just kind of telling you our story. In addition to that, we want to make sure that what we tell you could help you if you want to follow in our footsteps. And so when we say didn't meet our expectations, one of the issues that we have found is that this may have been talked about at the Curry Kingdom on the Curry Kingdom video, but that sometimes the pictures are not clear indications of what you will see in reality. There are some good photographers and really good cameras with really great lenses, and the angles look
the
great.
good angles.
So,
That's it. It's the angle. You have to
so
be careful with the
our
angle.
issue when we landed and were taken to our hotel was that the room was a shoebox. It was literally, it was tiny. And we're moving from one country to the next. So we had lots of luggage and we have our three children. So the room was not spacious enough to accommodate our family. Like if you, in the US, if you book a suite or a hotel with two double beds, you're getting like two full or two queen size beds, and there's space around those beds. And for us, we have traveled many times. We are big travelers. We have adequately been able to fit our luggage and our children. You know, we'll sleep in one bed and the children will sleep in another, or, you know, whatever. And maybe there's a pull-out couch or something like that. So all of us can be accommodated. So when we saw two double beds in the description, that's what my husband
We
thought he was
expected
getting when,
two
because he
double
found it and booked
beds.
it. Yeah.
Two, yeah.
So it turned out when we got there, they were going to literally, in order to accommodate us, need to put us in three separate rooms. And they were, two were together, one was somewhere else. But anyway, my point is that the picture is not always what it seems. The beds were well made, they looked nice, but all you saw in the picture was the bed. You couldn't see space around it, and there was a good reason for that. When we got there, we realized why, because there there was no space around it.
But you also have to you have to understand what they mean when they say a double bed. Because a double bed from the States is okay, it's
A
usually
full
like
or
a
a
full
queen.
bed or a queen bed, and it's two beds in the room, double bed, which means that in the States, you can usually have, four people in
In a
that
room.
particular room. But here, when it's a double bed, it is two.
It's just one full size bed
I mean,
or one
no, no, no.
queen.
It may be two beds in there, but you can only have two people in the room.
Well, in this case, that particular
Oh no,
hotel
not that
had
particular one.
a big, it was a queen size bed, which they
But
consider
right.
double because one person sleep on one pillow, the other person sleep on the other pillow. But that was the only bed in the room.
Oh,
So
but the
yes.
other place that we went to, the second place, because we checked into that place. No, we were in the process of getting ready to check into that place. Realized that it was not going to accommodate us, and so what we did is we looked for another place. We realized that when we got there, I booked a double bed, thinking that okay, all five of us can fit in that room because there's two beds in there, two queen beds or two king beds or whatever, or two queens. But then when you get there, you realize that it is actually they only allow two people in the room at a time, and so you have to make sure that you do your due diligence, and you have to. It's to be honest, it's going to be hard to contact them because even um, when we got there, we had and at the second place, I booked it online, and when we got there, the place, I mean, they didn't have us checked in. You know what I'm saying?
So let me back up again. So when we got to the second booking, because I remember we found out during the layover that one of them wouldn't accommodate us. My husband booked something else. We landed. We were picked up late by the driver from that hotel. Got to that hotel. Found out they were not going to be able to accommodate us because I asked, "Can we see the rooms, please?" I don't know what made me ask that before we pay or before we finished checking in. Can we see the rooms? That wasn't going to work. So then, of course, we start looking for something else. We booked the another lodging accommodation, which looked very nice. It was really nice. We get transportation there, which again required two vehicles because we had a lot of luggage and our family of five. So that was renting two modes of transportation. So we had to pay for both of those. So keep that in mind. So then we got there to the second location, and the young lady saw how much luggage we had, and you were checking into the one room, and she said, "You, all of you, all of you?" And you said, "Yes." So when he booked the room, it's an Airbnb. You put in the number of guests that are going to be in
No,
the
that one wasn't an
Airbnb. Yes,
Airbnb.
it was.
The
Yes, it was. It was.
Are you sure it was Airbnb? Okay.
For those of you who are familiar with booking on Airbnb, it's frozen. It's on our end. We have
It's
it's still going, so I don't know if it is a
You
connection
know what?
issues
It's
elsewhere
probably the internet.
because we're far away from the router.
No, because I'm connected to it. I should have gone
You're not on
live.
Wi-Fi.
It's
Oh, it's
good
good
now.
now. Okay, good, good, good.
Great.
So, back to where I was in the story, we had booked, my husband booked through Airbnb. You put the number of guests that are going to be in the
Right.
lodging. It said 5. Okay, so finished that, completed that booking. Okay, good, it's not frozen. completed that booking, and then we traveled to the place because now we have secured somewhere to go, right? So we're going to take our children to the next place. We pull in all our luggage. They assist us very kindly. Everybody bringing in the luggage, put it all in the lobby. It's lots in there. We were the only ones. And as I said, when he checked in and she said how many rooms, he said one. Okay, can we show? And she looked at us and she looked at our luggage and she said, no, they only allow two. Two is
Two
the max
people in the
capacity.
room.
And my husband requested that she call a manager or ask someone and said, I indicated there were 5 of us and the booking was complete. It
No,
was confirmed.
before we even called the manager, I said, I mean, you can look at the booking because on the booking,
Right.
it said that there were 5 people, and she had to go through something to even find the booking. And as a matter of fact, we've had that problem several times where I would go online and book it online, but then when you get to the place, there was not accommodations for us. But go ahead, but I don't want us to, take too much time
So
on
that
this.
was that. We could not check in there because the max capacity was 2. They offered to allow us to book another room at a discount rate, but it was outside of our budget because we needed a full week because this was the time that we were going to be using to look for a house, which did not have. We figured about a week is what it would take for us to find a house. So we only planned to stay there for 1 week. And booking 2 rooms, even with the discount rate, was going to take us out of our budget. So we could not stay there. So again, this is the 3rd time now that we're looking for somewhere else to stay. Found another place to stay. So from there, we went to the one that starts with a P.
Oh no, that wasn't. No, that we didn't go to that one. We went to
From the
High
one that starts
Ground.
with a C. Oh yes.
High
To
Ground.
okay,
That
High
was a
Ground,
good
which
one.
was amazing. It was a wonderful
Yeah, it was
experience.
a good
Jean
experience.
Claude Airbnb,
High Ground
High
Villa,
Ground Villas
High
in
Ground Villa in Ribeiro.
Roberto Hill. It was lovely. Had no
Yes,
issues there. Very, very nice host. Very accommodating. He let us stay in the larger apartment, even though the booking was for the smaller one because he had
there
hit
was some.
a glitch. He
Yeah,
put us down for the wrong one. But anyway, so that was a wonderful experience. Then we start our house hunting because that was
was
Sunday
right.
that we get there late in the evening by the time all of this stuff had been done and we ate something.
Hello, African
Hey,
Queen.
glad to have you back. So, yes, we finally found that place that Sunday evening after traveling all that time and landing Sunday morning at 7 something in the morning, 7:30. Put our things down, think we get something to eat, come back and rest for the night and, get ready to start looking for houses Monday morning. This is week 1. So, oh, thank you. It's a twist out. No biggie. You can do it. You can do it. So,
We looked
Monday
for
morning.
houses starting Monday morning, and as I said before, we've been in and out of Airbnbs basically over the last 3 weeks, and so
We're on week
we
1.
I'm sorry.
We're on week 1. That
Right,
Monday.
we're on week 1.
Okay.
And so we look for
Hallelujah.
houses literally
Hallelujah.
all day, every day, for the next 3 weeks. And so that first week we were just basically looking for houses, and we also started the process. Now, as a matter of fact, we didn't really start looking for a car
Till week 2.
probably like week 2. Yeah, and so we get to week 2, and
After not being able to find a house, we saw some we liked, but they didn't check enough of the boxes for us. Some had great things and nothing had everything that we wanted. So we're going to week 2, continuing to look for houses, communicating with agents, brokers, trying to reach out to everybody we could. Facebook Marketplace, using that as a resource. Word of mouth referrals, contacting everybody and going from house to house to house. Dealing with that experience was challenging because it's done differently here. They don't have real estate agencies with compensated brokers who just get a commission. You're
buy the
dealing
house,
with
yeah.
individuals' requirements for how they want to show you a home and what their compensation is going to be. So that was interesting to navigate.
So let's pause right there and let's address that. The brokers, because I can't remember if
We talked about it at Curry Kingdom.
we talked about the brokers and the costs. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
And then, so we had paid for various drivers from the time, so we were picked up from the airport free because they were taking us to the hotel, but after that we had to rent vans and cars to get our luggage
We
around.
weren't picked up free from the hotel.
Oh yeah, that sure wasn't free either because we had so much luggage. So we had two vehicles that picked us up there. You're right. So by this point, my husband says, "Okay, it's time to start looking for a car." Week two. So we were looking on Facebook Marketplace, and let's see. So you had multiple brokers. Had no idea you had to do that. I thought maybe
Yeah, so
Jackson would be going. We
we met with Jackson when we came here the
during
first
our
time
visit.
during our visit. But when we got here, we went with other brokers, um, and yeah, so that's yeah, we just
You
went with
don't
other
want to
brokers.
expound on that at all.
No, I won't. I
I'll
mean,
say that in hindsight, I kind of wish we had just gone back with him, but it might have saved us some time.
yeah,
But
the thing is, you have to understand, going back to the previous video, you have to understand how the brokers work here. And so, because we didn't understand when we first got here, because as we mentioned in the previous video, some of them, they don't charge you anything to take you around to the different houses. They just charge a certain percentage of the rent for that first month, and then there are others who will charge you a certain amount, 5,000 Rwanda francs, or $5 or $10 to show you houses, and then they will, then they'll take half of the rent, usually half of the rent of the house, and so we just we yeah, go ahead.
well, help the people, honey, help the people.
No, I mean it was um I like to uh I don't like to throw people under the bus or things like that or whatever, so I won't mention any names or any situations like that or whatever, but I'll just say, you know, not that we
Because I don't want
necessarily
to
had
put
a
that impression out there. You say you don't want to put people under the bus. Okay, email me when. Yeah, right. I'm like, honey, tell me.
no, I
You don't have to
mean,
throw anybody under the bus. Just to what you chose to do or why you might. I'm not gonna press you. You do how you want to do. There was a comment that said he must not have had control over the other people, if I'm understanding, or other places. A lot of them know of the same places.
yes.
We found out that there are some homeowners who will call. They don't have put signs out in front of their houses like we're used to in the US. You can drive by and see realtor signs in front of a house for sale, for rent, what have you. That's not commonplace here. And that's to maintain their privacy. They don't want people to know. Please be transparent for those that will be
So,
relocating. Yeah,
all right,
yeah,
so let me be
yeah.
transparent.
One
This
second,
is
let me
okay.
just finish this one thought. So there are a lot of people, you may have several brokers or realtors, we don't need names, who will know of the same house being available for rent. So it can be helpful to have a couple of different individuals looking for you on your behalf. He does not, there isn't like a statute of limitations or a region that's committed to a particular realtor or broker or agent or what have you. So he didn't have any monopoly. We could see whatever we wanted with these other individuals that they knew of, because you only know, you as a expat are only gonna know what's available based on what your broker knows. Because, like I said, there won't be signs. Now, we did see one sign on a house down the street from a one of the last Airbnb. Say that
Yeah,
again, I missed it.
I
And
found it
I
close to
called the
July.
number. And I saw another one not far from Kazana at an estate. So sometimes they may put, okay, I understand. Sometimes they may put that a house is for rent, but it's very rare. I literally only saw those two.
Yeah.
No, three. The other one in Chibakabaga down the street from Papa Gerald's house. And I called that, and it was outside of our budget, but it's rare. They want to keep it kind of under wraps and let the brokers help to navigate the situation. So that's why we had a lot of people helping us, because they may have known about some houses that other brokers may not have known if they didn't run in the same circles with the people who were renting them.
So let me go back to the transparency. So when we were here in March, we were charged $50 to see houses uh, while we were here. That was one day, right?
It was one day we
fifty
saw
dollars for
6
that.
houses.
We saw 6 houses in that
You're
one day.
welcome. We got you. We got you.
6 houses in that one day, and it was $50. And so when we got back here and we realized that okay, there are brokers that were showing they'll show you as many houses as you want for 5,000 or basically $5. It's only that they just get they just get half of the rent. And so I was a little, to be honest, I was a little turned off by that,
Hi,
by the fact
family.
that we were charged $50. Now, I kind of understand it in that when we came the first time, we were only looking. We weren't necessarily planning on purchasing or renting a house at that
Which we
time.
made that individual aware of.
Right. And so that could be the reason why, we were charged the amount that we were charged. But
Greetings from DC.
Didn't DC in the house, yes. But I just didn't want to.
Not good.
I didn't want to pay $50 again. And I don't know. I just felt, like I didn't. We shouldn't have had to pay $50 when we came back here, and when we got here, and we only paid $5 or $10 depending on the broker.
Now, my perspective on that is this. I mean, hey, to each his own. And this again is in hindsight. We paid for transport fees several times because a lot of them don't drive. They meet you somewhere and will guide you to where the house or houses are. So transport fees, some of them even were told, okay, this person is going to charge $10 to see the house, to even let you in and see the house, in addition to us paying them the transport fee or the $5 to see the house. And so we shelled out a lot of those for the last 3 weeks. We moved into this house last Sunday. So we literally, this coming Sunday, will be our first full week in our own home. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. All glory to God and praises be. Okay.
Yes.
But it was very frustrating. It was very time consuming, time which we didn't have a lot of because there was so much to do with getting bank established, getting SIM cards,
Just
visa
everything,
renewal, all that stuff.
everything.
So I feel like because of the expertise that we paid for and the professional service that we were given when we came to visit, and my husband made clear we're planning to move here. We want to see what we can get in a certain price range so we have an idea of how to plan and budget for our housing. And he let them know up front, $50 is what it's going to cost for me to take you to as many houses as I have available in your price range. We could have seen more, but I think it kind of got to a point where he said, well, we're not moving right now, so we don't want to waste all of our time just looking at houses or what have you. And then
And also part of it, to be honest, to interrupt you, is that the houses that we saw
weren't amazing.
were not amazing. So we have seen, since we've been here, we've seen houses that weren't, our particular,
Aesthetic
taste, whatever. But the houses that we were shown during the time we were here, to be honest, I don't think we would have moved into any of those houses.
No, none of those would have been our preference, but that might have been the only thing that, except for the one we were going to get, the condo, the $500 a month, brand new, spanking new, still being worked on condo. He did show us
that was the only one.
And so I think he showed us 5 to 6 houses, which is what your specific request was, 5 to 6 houses within this particular price range. And that might have been all that was available that he knew of at the time. He can't help that the houses aren't great, And like I said, he picked us up. He drove us around. We didn't have to meet him anywhere. He was on time. He was very cordial, very professional. There's value in that for me. And then...
And I'm not saying there's no value in it. I'm just saying
and then
that's
I think
why
he charged 30% of the first month rent would have been his commission if we purchased the house. So, we probably spent about $50 paying transport fees and other $5 fees over the course of the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, and I'm just saying that looking, like I said,
In comparison, knowing that you could have just paid $5.
Right. I understand, to a certain extent, I understand, that's why I said previously that it could be that, because we were not renting at that moment. You know what I'm saying?
I think that was his base price for everybody, regardless of whether you're renting now or not. And then the other thing
but that's the thing. I don't think.
You don't think he charged everybody?
I don't. No, I'm not saying he didn't charge anybody. else that. I'm saying that you
The
could
thing.
not right now. You cannot, unless somebody's just flat just got off the plane. You can't charge somebody $50 to show them houses when all of the other brokers are charging you either nothing or they're charging you $5, $10.
Well, he establishes himself with his YouTube channel as an expert in the field, I'll call it, you know. So there are people who come over here looking specifically for him or get in touch with him because of his presence
Yeah.
on YouTube. So I think because he knows, oh wait, okay, because he knows that people calling, hey, I saw you on YouTube, I'm coming, I want to look for a house. And then, like I said, he delivers professionalism and everything. I don't want to argue with you
Right,
on it. I understand.
and I'm not saying that I'm not saying he's a bad person, and
Yeah.
I don't want us to make this about him. I think that I wouldn't consider him an expert. I consider, and this is nothing against him, but I consider it okay. So it's like we do a YouTube channel, right? And we come to Rhonda and we contact a broker. That particular broker is the one that we just happen to get in contact with. You see what I'm saying? And so because of that, he gets a whole lot of popularity because of our channel, because we got thousands, I mean, not our channel, but we got, all of these viewers. And so now, because everybody's watching
I'm gonna charge
our
this
channel,
because
now
I know.
yeah, so now I can charge
been a
more
while.
because everybody's asking for me.
Well, hey, commercialism. That's the way they do it in the States too. Yeah, he was on time. No CP time. That's not true. We'll talk about
CP time
Came from Africa.
Came
Okay.
from Africa.
Yes,
big
it did.
time.
We brought it right on with us
Don't
in the
get it
diaspora.
twisted. Don't get it twisted.
We
Every
gotta
single
talk about
time, every single time we have gone to see a house
Or a car.
or a car. Every single time. I didn't say sometime. Every single time.
Somebody said, yes, it did. Yeah,
We
girl.
waited.
Or a guy.
We waited for the individual.
Not only that, I'm coming. I'm on my way. I will be there on time. Okay, so we get there on time. We're sitting there, we're waiting. What's that? So we're waiting. We're here. Where are you? We're in a green car. We're in a black car. Whatever. I'm wearing a black shirt. Looking for you. Where are you? I'm
coming.
close. I'm close. Okay, well, when will you be here? 20 minutes. It's already 10 minutes past our appointment time, and you're telling me you'll be here in 20 minutes? Every time.
Hold on. So, side story. Okay. So what was this, the house or we were going to see a car?
It was a house
It was a house?
near the airport.
Okay. So we're getting ready so our car,
Kanombe.
no. Was
Yes,
that the house?
Kanombe.
No, I'm
We
talking
didn't
about
see it.
No, I'm talking about not that one.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the one where we were going to see, what was it, a car or a house?
That was a car.
And the guy said, okay, I said, because we
was a
learned,
car.
okay, that every time we go somewhere, every time we're scheduled to meet someone, you say 10 o'clock, they're not going to be there at 10. I mean, it's CP time
So give
started
them
here.
like
You
15, 20
gotta
minutes.
give them 15, 20 minutes at the very least. Okay. And so what happens is I talk to somebody about a car, excuse me. And I said, hey, okay, listen.
We weren't LOL.
Listen, I'm gonna be there at 10. Okay, I'm not gonna be there at 10:05, 10:15. I'm gonna be there at 10. And the brother says, I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. Listen, time is money. I said, okay, this brother gonna be on time. Somebody's gonna be on time this time. We get there at 10. And it's a little bit after 10. I called the brother, asked him where he is.
It was 10:03.
It was 10:03. I asked the brother where he is. And what did he say? I'm on the way.
Yeah, I think
okay.
it's on the way.
And I said, okay, so what? I said, you told me that time is money, and you're gonna be here at 10 o'clock. Okay. So how far are you away? I'm coming. No. How far are you away? I'm coming.
How many
I'm coming.
minutes?
How many minutes? I'm coming. The brother finally said 20 minutes. I said, okay, we'll holler at you.
I know. We know.
We'll catch you next time. We'll catch you next time. Yeah, not everybody in Africa has a car, but his brother had he had transportation. Yeah. But I don't even know how we even got on that.
We were talking about the lack of punctuality, and you wanted to give that story as an example.
Yeah, so just understand when you come here, CP time originated here.
Yeah.
originated. I don't care
So if you
what
want
they.
to start something at 10, like you said, tell them
You better tell
9:45.
them, yeah. No, you better really. You
To
probably
be
better.
there.
You
Say,
probably
I
need to
need to
tell
be
them
here at
like 9:30.
9:30, and then you show
You
up
need to
at
tell them at
10.
9:30. And we knew that before we came here because everybody, all the other videos, they would say the same thing that you got to be careful. I mean that if you wanted that it's CP time over here. That everything is people kind of just when
At
they
their leisure, come when they come when they
come when they
come.
come when
You
they
know what
come.
you
Yeah.
mean?
Um,
So but then we have a friend who told us there are some people it's kind of challenging to determine who you will meet with that stipulation that you tell them well in advance, an earlier time than you plan to be there, because some people do happen to come on time and you don't want to have them waiting. So it's kind of hard to figure out. I guess you have to know the
yeah.
person or what have you. But anyway, so week 2, looking for a car was added to looking for a house. We'll have the children with us every day. School has not started. Some days are hot. They're all long. We get up around 9, 8:30 every morning. Most of the appointments started at 9:30 or 10 o'clock, and the children endured long, busy days. Bless their hearts. I really learned what my children were made of, riding around the car all day long, sometimes not eating until, we would eat fruit in the morning, pastries or what have you, maybe some cereal, and then not have lunch until late, 3 o'clock. Sometimes one day we didn't have our first meal until 4. So it was quite tedious because we were all together all the time in the
All the
car,
time.
going from appointment to
Yes.
appointment, sitting, waiting, getting disappointments if we liked the house and then found out it was taken or what have you, or no longer available. So yeah, then going to the bank, they were sitting in the bank with us when we opened our account and had to bounce from bank to bank to bank because we needed documents or passport photos, and they didn't do it at this one, so we went to another one and continued the process at another branch. So the days were long. You may have heard the story about the rental cars that added to it. So week 2 was the second. What was one in rental cars 1 and 2
Yeah. So
that were both
we're dealing
horrible.
with going in and out of
Let's see. Somebody said, "Oh, I hate that it fades away before I
going in
can
and
read
out
it."
of Airbnbs,
It's
as
Africa.
well
You have to
as
take it easy. Don't be living like you. I
dealing
know.
with
I know it.
the rental cars. And so those two, so you're dealing with Airbnbs going. We literally went in and out of. I think we were in 3 weeks because this is our 4th week tomorrow, and we've been in the house for a week. But in 3 weeks, we were physically in. We stayed in 4 different Airbnbs.
One wasn't
And
an Airbnb. It was an apartment.
well, I mean, same thing. When we move, at least we stayed in 4 different places, and we checked in probably to like a total of like 7 or 8. Now, how is that possible? Because we checked in and then realized it was not where we wanted to be and checked out.
Or you would drive there and they say, "Oh, we don't
Oh, we
have
don't
your
have any.
booking.
We
We
don't
don't
have.
have that.
We don't have
it
any
on here. We don't
room.
have a room for you."
Yeah, even after I booked it online. So yeah, so all of that took place in the first 2 weeks. We get to third week, week 3, and that's when we were.
Eat local food. Don't be going like expensive restaurants, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's advice is help somebody get there so they can save some money. We did it. We
Yes.
did that. We found a lot of 2 local restaurants that we like a
That
lot.
we eat a lot. That we
Eat
ate.
like the
Yeah.
natives. You spending $4
Yes.
a plate. All you can eat buffet.
Yes.
$5
And
at Africa Bite
Africa Bite and
and Freedom
Restaurant.
Restaurant.
Those,
Very
I mean,
inexpensive.
listen, good
Yeah, it's
food.
flavored well. Well, some of the
Yes.
stuff like the cassava, the yam, and the sweet potato are just boiled. They don't put much seasoning on those at all. It's like the native, local, traditional way of eating. It's their traditional food. But the peas,
Oh, at Freedom Restaurant,
so
them
good.
things off
At
the
Africa Bite too.
chain.
The peas are great there as well.
Yeah. They don't really do.
Yellow
No,
fry.
they don't do
We
peas.
yeah.
They didn't do peas.
Uh-huh.
Theirs
The,
was
the
like a
very first
mixture.
time we had.
It's like a mixture.
the pot.
But at
Have you found any
collard
collard
greens.
greens?
We have not
No
found any
collard
collard greens in
Ever Queen
Rhonda.
one have
No.
retirement in Pennsylvania. Okay, she's talking.
Um,
No,
so-
we have. There is an individual on the Blacks Pat Rwanda WhatsApp group that brought some collard green seeds, and he grows collard greens, and he'll put on the grocery
Collard
stores,
greens.
no collard greens. They have another kind of green. We don't know the name of it because it's in Kenya, Rwandan. We don't know what it's called, but they do serve greens. They look
Yeah,
big and leafy, kind of like a big curly spinach, kind of.
yeah.
And the root of it looks like chard, I would say, or a
Yeah, but
curly
it's
bok
good.
choy. It kind of looks like it could be.
It's good. And they have some of the other vegetables. But I know as black folk we look for the collard
That's
greens.
right. I know that's the truth.
But there's no
What a
there we haven't
blessing
seen
is
any
the
collard
focus.
greens here. Yeah,
Yeah.
so third week, we're in the third week, and that's when we were, things really got rough.
Yes.
Things really got rough, and so we had some disappointments. We'll do a video
The
about
children.
school, about the children in school, a separate video,
They're doing
with
okay.
them.
They're doing
They're doing
okay.
okay. That's a
We'll
whole
talk
nother.
about it.
That's another video. Um, but we were on the verge, ladies and gentlemen, of catching a flight back to somewhere other than Rhonda, um, because uh, it was rough. This has probably been our roughest experience, the toughest experience that we've had as a couple. Very, very, very challenging. We have shared things here on online, but we have not shared every single detail. To protect the innocent. But for the most part, we've shared everything. But it's been challenging. We are we are doing well. It has not been an easy transition. You have to understand that when you pick up and move your family to a whole nother continent, um, and you leave all of your other experiences behind, all of the things that you're used to, the different expectations that you have or that you had when you left, and when you come to this new country, and a lot of things that you're used to just don't happen. And so it was very, 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 very rough when over these last 3 weeks or whatever. And it's still not easy now. It's still not easy now. But I remember there was somebody who mentioned in a previous they made a comment in one of the previous videos. um yes, make your relationship stronger. They mentioned in one of the previous videos, I think it was the last video we did live, where we were sitting down talking, and I think I mentioned that it was rough. Um it was a hard couple weeks, and they mentioned in the comment that they moved to Rhonda some years ago, and the first month was really, really rough for them. And that individual could be watching right now, but they said it was really rough. But after they made it through that first month, they were fine. And they've been here in Rhonda for several years. And if you're watching, I can't remember who it was that made the comment, but if you would please reach out to us, because we would love to interview you and your family on our channel, if possible. But after seeing that comment, it um, gave me some hope, that if we can just make it through this first month, then we'll be okay.
I hope it all works out for you, but if not, then you can always try another part of Africa. The four
54
countries,
countries,
yeah.
yes.
I don't even know that it's not so much that Rwanda made it difficult. Um, it was just when he says it was extremely, extremely challenging. What was hard was the fact that it took us a while to find a home that would accommodate us and our needs, for the space of our the size of our family, and what we want to do while we're here within our budget. And
With the
then
car
to
experience.
find it and then it not be available, and have to continue hitting the pavement looking with the children in tow, that, and then getting a rental car that was not up to par. It was not safe. It was not cute. It was old. It was car that ran out of gas because the gas gauge didn't work at all, and it always said it was on empty, so you never knew if you had enough gas in it. And my husband said, come get this thing, it's not safe for my family, the brakes aren't right. We get another car, he says it's good, this is a better car, this is a good car. Sends a picture, delivers a whole nother car, doesn't have a rear view mirror, it's horrible, ends up being full of roaches in the back seat and crawling up in the front. Dealt with that with what, maybe 2-3 days. Then my husband said, you got to come get this car, I'm done. We finally got another car, praise God. That one was what sustained us until we purchased a car this past Thursday. So the third rental car was much better. It was $35 a day, nice owner, good experience with the transaction and everything. But dealing with that on top of driving around all day with the children, looking for houses, setting up bank account, and nothing was coming through. Like you trying to, bless you, trying to purchase a car and people were not communicating back with you. He reached out, we'd find a car on Facebook Marketplace or some other venue and ask about the car. Is it available? Yes. And then, okay, when can I see it? Ghost town. You wouldn't hear anything. Or when can I see it? And they'd set a time and it wouldn't be on time and things like that. So it just felt like nothing was going right. And then we're having to go from Airbnb to Airbnb. And the reason why we moved from a lot of Airbnbs is because remember, our first one disappointed us at a layover. So we had to find something else quickly. And we booked it for a week thinking we would only need a week to find something. House, yeah. So as we're approaching, so we got in it on a Sunday. As Wednesday is coming and we haven't found a house yet, it's clear that we need several more days. So we try to extend our booking, but it was already previously booked to someone else for the next week and several weeks out because it was really nice. So we had to leave that place. We had no choice. I'm sure people are wondering, why'd you go to so many instead of just extend it? So we had to go somewhere else. So we went somewhere else. We booked for another week because we're blocked in with their availability and we're trying to find something that our children can comfortably sleep in. So we go to the next place and we were not pleased with it and left. And then we had to find something else. We didn't even tell you all about the part where in the midst of looking for somewhere else to stay, one of the brokers who was going to show us houses, I asked, do you know of an apartment that we can stay in for a while while we look for a house? And he connected with a woman who let us rent her apartment. There was a cockroach in it or 2 or 3 or some bugs, so the girls weren't comfortable sleeping there that night. We left that very night. She was kind enough to give us some. That was the apartment, huh? 8 o'clock at night. You talking about?
Yeah, that was 8 o'clock at night.
Because we got in there that afternoon. Yeah, and we got in there that afternoon from the other place, from High Ground, because it was the only place we could find to stay, and went to put our luggage in there. My husband drove all the luggage there, dumped it off, came back and got us, because again, all of us can't fit in one vehicle. Then we went to get something to eat. Children are tired, hungry, whatever. When we came back from getting something to eat, saw a bug, huge cockroach in the kitchen. My daughter ran out the house and they weren't comfortable. They didn't think they could sleep.
In the refrigerator.
Oh, so there were 2.
Right, it was one in the refrigerator.
One in the other. So anyway, so we left there. Again, we're looking for somewhere else to stay. All of us cannot fit in the luggage, in the vehicle. By this time, it's 9 o'clock at night. So the children and I, now this is when we're in the cockroach infested, or not cockroach, little regular roach infested rental car. And the children were not, and no, I'm not even gonna put it on them. We all were like, I'm not getting back in that car. We don't want stuff crawling on us. We had sprayed it, fumigated it, towel in there. Anyway, they were still coming out. So with this apartment situation, when the girls said they wouldn't be able to sleep comfortably, they'd had their eyes wide open all night. We said, okay, we'll leave. We don't want to put them in that position. So we thought the next place that we found was very, very close by. So we were like, oh, cool, we'll walk. Daddy,
I'll have all the stuff in the car.
You can have the luggage in the car. You drive it. We'll just walk next to you on the car.
Because we thought it was 5 minutes away. And the lady sent a message on Airbnb the address was different from what was on the actual
on the Airbnb.
Airbnb.
And he says, "Oh, it's much farther than I thought." We
Yeah.
walked as far as
I mean,
we
it was,
could, and
yeah.
they were troopers. My babies were. Oh yeah. We were just talking and having conversation.
I'm
My
driving
oldest had her heavy
2 miles an
backpack. I told her
hour.
to put it in the car.
They walking
Yeah,
next
he
to
creeping with
the car,
because we
and
weren't getting in the car.
then
Couldn't fit anyway, but the luggage.
couldn't fit. Then I realized, okay, because I'm looking at the Airbnb because we're checking in late. Okay, so we're trying to make sure that we can get in, and the lady saying, "Oh, you can get into this place, whatever." And so what we do is, I'm looking on Airbnb while I'm driving, and they're walking next to the car, so I can make sure she gives the address, whatever she gives the address, and it's further away than we
With our
thought.
5-year-old son, 11-year-old daughter, and 14-year-old daughter walking at night.
Yes.
It's safe. We
Yes,
weren't
it's safe,
concerned.
yeah,
There's street lights and everything. But it was getting a little far. I had to take my flip-flops off and have him pull over so I can dig in my luggage and put on my tennis shoes. Kaya finally took her backpack off, which was still fully packed and heavy and loaded from the previous departure of the Airbnb. And then we decided, okay, well, let's just walk a little. We walked at least a mile,
Right, because initially we
if
were
not a little more.
right, because initially we were looking for, okay, let's try to find, because when I saw the
Costa
when I
Rica
saw
is
the response on the message on the Airbnb, I said, okay, let's try to find a taxi,
Yeah,
but none of the
we'll
taxis were coming. Okay,
Right.
and so we
and
had
half
to
the time
continue
you
to
see
walk.
Yegos,
You
the
see them
taxis.
everywhere, but no taxi. Okay, so okay, let's
Yeah,
continue to walk
you're
or
right.
whatever.
That was the
So
plan.
then we get to one of the main roads or whatever, and so then that's when they finally were able to find one.
So let me tell you where obedience is a blessing. The Bible says that it's better to obey than to sacrifice. And it's very true. Usually parents use that to mean you're going to get a whipping and then your behind is about to be sacrificed if you don't obey. To obey is better than to sacrifice. Anyway, so we get to an overpass because they're doing some Department of
Construction.
Transportation construction infrastructure to expand the road and make it faster. So there's a highway and the regular road goes along the highway down low. And there's a sign. So we were walking up, approaching that overpass,
The
and there's a
bridge or
sign.
whatever, yeah.
And there's a sign that says, "People with a line. There are
No
no walking,
pedestrians.
and no bicycles."
Motorcycles, yeah.
But we saw people walking and we saw people on their bikes, which one of my daughters pointed out. I said, "No, we're going to be obedient. We're going to walk down here on the ground on regular road." And sure enough, there was a
taxi
a
down
taxi,
there.
a couple of them actually. And I showed the address, I called my husband because he was up ahead. He had to go over the bridge, which took him much more quickly, of course, than us on our feet down below. And I called him and I said, "There's a Eagle down here. We saw a cab." I was like, praise the Lord. And it was nice. It wasn't like the roachy rental car. It was a newer model. The children were so happy to be able to get to ride in the car, A, because they were walking, and B, because they had been in that jinky hoopty. Nobody, they didn't complain about it. It was just the bugs. But anyway, so God blessed with the taxi cab. And I called my husband, and the taxi cab pulled off, and we found my husband a little ways down the road, not too far, and the cab followed him to the other house. And anyway, so that was
the Airbnb.
that was the next Airbnb that we checked into.
That was the third one.
That
No,
was
that
the
was the
third.
fourth one. I mean, was that the last one?
That was the third, because it was Highland, then the C one that we couldn't get into, and we ended up going to P
Yeah.
and left there and went to that one. Anyway, appreciate your honesty since we're visiting in June. We're like, yes, we need to be honest. Great feeling and not to worry about your children being out late and walking. Oh yeah, it's really, really safe, and people kind of look out for it. Yeah, I wasn't concerned at all, and I'm not a helicopter parent, but I'm gonna know where my children are at all times and what they're doing, and kind of have them in arm's reach of me when we're together. For the most part, sometimes I do get distracted. I have to be honest, but I wasn't concerned whatsoever. My son has a lot of energy. I just wanted to make sure that he stayed off the road, because there are a lot of motos, and they zipping and getting it. They really. That's a whole nother video.
Yeah,
so anyway, but otherwise, as far as safety, no concern.
You're not gonna. I mean, listen.
Whatsoever.
I mean, none. None. As a matter of
None.
fact, we had a conversation with some individuals, or whatever. And remember, one individual was telling us that he left his wallet. What's it?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, yeah,
what was
yeah.
the story about? I
I
mean,
said-
like, like it's so safe here. Not that you would want to do it, but this particular individual, he
Putting his
mentioned
phone and
leaving,
his wallet
put his
down
phone and
at the
wallet
restaurant to go
down
wash his
at a
hands or
restaurant
something
to go
without
wash his
second thought.
hands, come back and it's still there,
So he had
and
some
he expects
friends.
it to be there.
Yeah, and so he did the same thing in South Africa.
Okay, yeah.
And it's not. There's a lot of crime in South Africa. It's not as safe, and there is a whole lot of crime.
What we've been told. Yeah, what we've been told.
Yes, and and so the friends that were with him at the time said, "You giving the gifts? You
Yeah.
because that will walk away. So you need not put that. Don't.
We have a car now.
We have a car. We got a car last
We got
Thursday.
a car this past Thursday.
Tuesday. Because that's
Yeah,
when I had my meeting. Was on Tuesday.
right, Tuesday. So we
It's
finally
good
got a
too.
car.
It's nice. I mean, it's not
You
new
know,
or
it's not
fancy,
new. I mean,
but
not
it's
fancy, but it gets us point A, point B. It's
Three
you know
rows.
reliable, 3 rows.
4-wheel drive.
4-wheel
up these
drive. You
steep
gotta
hills.
have one of those here. I mean, it's really important to have one of those, especially depending on where you live, because the roads could be rough, especially depending on where you live and where you're going. Because our children, our girls go to a school that is on a dirt road, a long dirt road, and it is. I mean, like it rained one night, and the next morning it was muddy, and I mean it was just bad. And so yeah, but we got a car.
Week
And
3 brought us a car.
Week 3 brought us a car, and that whole process is, it's not like the States, where you know you buy a car from somebody, they selling it, and you just sign a title and you know go get it registered. You actually go to a notary. So you know you both sign the papers at the notary, and then you of course make the bank transfer, and then you go and you have to get a TIN number, a tax ID number, and then you have to go to this other place for a to actually do the transfer of ownership and to get
Is
your
it-
plates.
At the same place. The transfer of ownership and getting the plates takes place at the same location.
Basically, yeah. You go to the
RRA?
RRA. That's where you get your TIN number, your tax ID number, because you have to use that when you actually do the physical transfer. But it's basically it's a 4-step process for you to purchase a car. So it's not something you're just going to do. Okay, I just give you money, sign over the paper.
Give you the title, give me the
Title.
cash, do a bill of sale, and we're done.
That's not how they do things here. So just be prepared for that.
So that was week 3. We got the car on Tuesday.
In week 3, we also got the house. So we got the house on Sunday, got the car on Tuesday. And so we were actually, when we were looking at the house, so it was a Sunday before. It was a Sunday before where we were almost,
Was it a Sunday?
it was a Sunday. We were getting ready to head
I'm
back.
glad you went back there because I'm sure people are wondering what was so difficult that was gonna make you get a plane ticket.
to go back.
What was the breaking point?
So the thing is, I mean, it was the Lord who told me specifically that we need to come to Africa. He told me we specifically need to come to Africa. And I think I've mentioned it in a previous video a while ago that a couple years ago, doing some research, and I wrote a book, Identity Theft: Uncovering the Truth About Black History in the Bible. And after writing that book,
We'll get the
after in the process of writing that book, the Lord basically told me, it's you need to get your family out of this country, and also some other things that have been taking place in the country. And so it was me. I feel like Lord was calling me as Abraham to take my country, take my family, bring my family here, bring my family to Africa. And so when we get to this point and things are not going the way that
not going well.
not
Forget the
going
way that
well.
we expected. Not going. It wasn't pleasant. It wasn't lovely. It wasn't smooth. It was
at all.
Wall after wall after wall, and it was hard to even get to the wall. Everything was falling apart. It was difficult. It was challenging, uncomfortable. All of the things that sharpen you and make you stronger, but don't feel good, were happening, and draining the budget. in the meantime,
Yeah.
because we're spending more money on lodging, we were spending more money on transportation, so not only were things not working out for us, it was costing us a whole lot more emotionally and financially than we had anticipated. And true enough, it's not like we struggled for 3 months or what have you. But when you come with your children and you want to give them a good first impression of the continent and a pleasant and soft place to land, because we thought we had done all the work and all this research previously so that when we came, things would be
A
smoother
little
so that they
smoother.
would not have
Yeah.
to endure so much challenge. And it's okay that they did because they can see where we came from and where we are now. Praise God, they're just as thankful and they have their own hurdles
It's
like
not
now
for
at
the weak.
school. But it certainly isn't for the weak. And I just want to reiterate again, it's not like we struggled for a year or for 3 months or
No.
anything like that. We have a friend that we have made here, and she said, believe it or not, it was quick for us to be where we are now with our own house and car in 3 weeks, or at week 3 was quick, compared to some people's experience. So the devil
Yeah.
is a lie.
I
Satan
think
is putting obstacles in your way. Yeah,
I
yeah,
think the
yeah. He tried.
challenge and
He tried it.
I think the challenge, what was so
Not
hard
everyone will
for
become.
us, and you mentioned this earlier, is because there was, and getting back to us while we were almost gone, is because there were going in and out of the Airbnbs and the disaster with the cars,
Oh,
all of
thank you.
those different things, it was kind of like, I mean, nothing was smooth. And so all of that moving luggage here, there,
Oh,
everywhere.
it's so
And so it was
tedious and
draining.
yeah.
Okay. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, man, I mean, this, I told my
It's my
family,
fault.
right, it's my fault. I told my family, this is God. You know what I'm saying?
The children are doing well.
This is what God has called us to do it, do this, whatever. But when you look, it's like the family's like, I mean, you said God's told us to do this, and they
Where
don't. I
where
don't
are
see
you? Where are
God
you,
up in.
Lord?
I don't see God nowhere up in this. I mean,
I'll
God's
have
gonna
to
allow.
say, I said, and I wouldn't complain, I wouldn't say much. He'd ask me, so are you regretting this, or what are your thoughts? And then I would tell him the honest truth, like I'm not seeing, I'm not seeing God in this. I don't see it right now. And most of the time, when it comes to testing and trying you, it's difficult, and that's where God is in the difficulty. But I mean, it didn't seem like God had called us here. Is what I want to say. It did not feel like God had called us here. It felt like my husband really wanted to be here, and so we were here because he wanted to be here so badly. Because if God wanted us here, then why isn't he opening doors? Why isn't he making
Why
ways
isn't it
straight? Why isn't
smoother?
he
Yeah.
smoothing the path? If he really wants us to be here, then where is his hand? We're not seeing it, but
And
you know,
so it was a Sunday. As a matter of fact, you know what the breaking point was? The breaking point was it was a Sunday morning or something like that. Sunday during the day, my wife lost her debit
oh
card,
yeah.
and so
I was
it
like,
was that was
oh,
kind of like,
we're
I mean,
cursed. That's how I felt.
just I mean everything else is going bad. Then she loses it, and I'm just
And
like,
that's a big deal because I was using my debit card to withdraw funds because so that we could use it for transactions or what have you, and to do a lot of the things that we needed to do because our fiasco at the bank meant that we still don't have debit cards for
to
our
this
bank
day, right?
account,
That's another
literally to
story.
this day,
That's
because
another
when we
story.
opened our bank account, they don't give you the debit card at the same time. That was second. Well, they could have if we had established set aside 5 hours to be at the bank in order to get everything done. But I didn't have a. We're transferring money from our U.S. banks to this bank, and we didn't have a debit card for that. And then I lost my other debit card for my U.S. bank. So helping him by getting funds out would have was
It was
made
just
even worse. And so yeah, I kind of thought it was like this too. Although that was my fault. I don't know how that happened, but
so she loses her debit card, and then I'm like that evening I'm just we're
that
on the
was
way
it.
back to the Airbnb wherever we were staying at that time.
It was it.
And I'm just thinking, man, this is, I mean, I don't want to do it. I know my family doesn't really want to be here, so I'm just going to just call and change the tickets and we're going to head back. And in my mind, I'm devastated. I am devastated because, in my heart, I feel like this is what the Lord has called for us to do. But then it's like, okay, man, I mean,
It's not working.
it's not working. My family's not happy. And so that next morning, Monday morning, I got up and I'm on the phone with Rwanda Air, um, trying to see about changing tickets. And that's when, as a matter of fact, I told my wife, I think,
I sent you. You started that night. You were
yeah, I
looking
started that
online
night.
because I sent him a text from another room in the apartment that we were staying in for the Airbnb. It was really really nice, very spacious, and we weren't close. So I sent him a message from the living room or what have you, who's in back in the bedroom, because a friend of mine that I have made, who lives here in Rwanda, who's also an expat, her husband works for USAID and that's why they are here, was wanted to know how she could help, and she sent some references for a vehicle. So I sent a message to my husband, a picture of a car, and asked what time he would like to make an appointment to see it, and he said don't worry about it because we're
'Cause we're
getting
going back.
I'm getting a ticket back or something like that. I said what? And then I just didn't bother him. I let him sleep on it. I cuddled him a little bit that night or whatever. In my mind, I'm thinking, yes, but no. Yes, but no. Oh, I get to see my mommy and my daddy and my sisters again. But we came all this way. We can't go. So anyway, so let's just sleep on it and pray about it and see. I'll see how he's feeling in the morning. And first thing in the morning, he was on the phone instead of online. Yep, we
Looking
all
for
get.
houses and cars. Yeah.
Yes, and so when I saw that, and he was on a hold for a long time, and he kept asking questions about changing the leg of the flight that would have taken us from Rwanda to Uganda, because we're on a tourist visa, so we have to leave every 6 months. And so when we booked this flight from Atlanta to Rwanda, the second leg would have been from Rwanda to Uganda, and he was asking to change that, and he was on hold, and he was like, so I went and got my computer and my phone, and I'm going to go to my iPad, and I'm looking for houses. I'm like, no, today is going to be a better day. We're going to find this house today. Lord, show up and come through. Show out today, because my husband's in there devastated and hurt. We're not having it. He wants to be here. We aren't gonna be the reason that he goes back. It'll be because you made it clear, or that you're closing doors for a reason. And I said, can I tell the girls what you're trying to do? Because I knew they would feel pity and say no. So I said, I don't care what you do. He was just in that mood. So I went and told him, I said, girls, Daddy is looking for tickets back to Atlanta. How do you feel about that? My oldest said, oh, really? Like, yeah, okay, but I mean, we're here now. And then the middle daughter said, well, I mean, it's kind of nice. It would be kind of nice because I miss my cousins, but we came all this way. We may as well see what happens and try to keep looking. We'll find something, Mommy. So positive attitude. I said, come on, let's go tell Daddy. So we went and sat on the bed. They gave him a hug. Said, Daddy, we can try this. At least look a couple more days, and then if we don't find anything, then we can go back. So that turned the table. The houses that I found and set up for us to see that Monday, I said, we got some appointments. We're gonna go see this. We're gonna see this. Here's some car referrals and what have you. Yeah, that was very unselfish of them. It was. They felt bad for Daddy. Oh, Daddy, it's okay. We do want to be here. Like, we're gonna make it work, Daddy. It'll work out. It'll work out. So that day we saw two houses. One of them is the one that we are in. So you don't have to tell all your business and put it all there. Now, if you all don't know me by now, keep your eye on the prize. That's right. When you're wrestling with the Father, sometimes things aren't too easy to. Yes, Amen, Hallelujah. Yeah, I'm an open book. I'll spill all the beans.
The car was 8,200, and so as I mentioned in a previous video, cars here are expensive. Used cars are expensive. New ones too, but most of the cars are extremely expensive, especially used cars, because You know, and they typically are, most of the cars are Toyotas. If they aren't a Toyota, then it's another
A
Toyota.
Hyundai.
Uh, and then you'll find some Hyundais here. You'll find some different cars, whatever, but the majority, the overwhelming majority are Toyotas. And the RAV4 is probably the most popular. And the RAV4,
I need some
even
water.
even an old one, is expensive. And so you talking about like a 2010 RAV4 that's like, $15,000, where that same car in America, is half the price. And so trying to find a car, that stays within a certain budget is, we are in Rwanda. Um, so trying to find a car within a certain budget was hard, because I didn't also, I didn't want necessarily specifically want to pay, $10,000, $12,000 for a car. And so we were able to find one. Praise God, we were able to find one for 8,000, a little bit over 8,000, which is what we have now. Praise the Lord, praise God, and so we are able to have transportation, and get our children back and forth to school, and run all of the errands and do all of the things we need to do. So yes, we do have a car. And what's interesting is that the same day we got so that Monday we got the house. Well, we found two houses. One of them, as my wife mentioned, is what we're in today. Uh, and we'll do a tour of the house and how much it costs, rent. We'll do that in another video. Um, and also show some of the things that we have purchased since we've been here. And hey, IO Branch, we'll show some of the things we've purchased since we've been here, give you some prices so you can kind of have an idea of what you're going to pay for different things here. But
How long has this video been?
This video is 66 minutes.
Almost an hour.
No, it's
Thanks
more
for
than an
hanging in
hour.
there.
It's
Oh
more than
yeah.
an hour.
Duh.
So I think it's probably time to land this plane now.
I guess so. But did you tell them what the budget for the car was originally? You say you didn't
so
want to
originally,
spend.
right? So originally, I wanted to spend about 7,000. Then I said, okay, between 5 to 7.
Why?
Why?
Yes.
Because I had a certain budget.
No.
Because I had a certain amount that I wanted to spend.
Well, we had to up the budget because the quality and caliber of cars that we were finding in the original budget were not good quality cars, and there were very few, or they were so quickly.
Yeah.
So they were just hard to find. It was difficult to find cars between 5,500 and 7,000.
Yeah.
You're not going
And on
to
top of
easily
that, people
find
just,
an inexpensive car here.
no, even the cars that we found in that range, people just weren't responding. I mean, not just in that range, but just period. I mean, people weren't. I mean, you reach out to somebody about a car, they say, yes, it's available, and
And then you wouldn't hear
when can I
anything.
see it? And I don't know if they went to take a nap or what. So we just ended up
Yes, thank you.
not seeing a whole lot of cars. To be honest, we didn't see a lot of cars. Within the all of the people we've reached out to, we didn't see a lot of cars. So, but we ended up getting the car that we have now, and we are happy. We are happy.
Yeah. So
We're gonna close this video. We appreciate you all watching, hanging out with us for over an hour tonight.
hope it was helpful.
Hope it was helpful.
Hope it was fun and entertaining and intriguing. Intriguing.
Yes, if you have any other feedback, any other questions or whatever personal questions, you can reach out to us at Destination West Africa 2022.
Share and subscribe. Sorry.
Is Destination West Africa, because originally we thought we were going to be in Ghana.
It's Destination West Africa because that's catchy and our last name is West.
Right, but
I thought
also
of
we
that.
thought we were going to be in West Africa too.
Well, that too.
Yeah, we thought we were going to be in Ghana. But yeah, so you can reach out to us on that platform if you have any personal questions. But until then, next time, we'll see you in the next video, and we'll share some more of our journey here in Rwanda. Blessings.